Hello students and welcome to the lecture series of our subject, that is Introduction to Literary Criticism. And in the last couple of lectures we have seen the syllabus and evaluation pattern, evaluation scheme of your subject, and now we are going to start our syllabus from today onwards. And the first unit is the definition of literary criticism, that is what is exactly mean by the term literary criticism. So the first unit is definition, origin, principles, types and functions of literary criticism. So in this lecture we are going to discuss the definition, what is literary criticism, when it was originated, and what are its key factors. Now these are the questions for which we are going to find answers, and the answers are certainly very difficult. So we are going to start with the title of the subject itself, and the title of the subject itself suggests you that this kind of criticism is related with literature. This criticism is particularly literature, is related with literature. And so first of all we need to understand what is literature and what are the literary qualities, because the title is literary criticism. So first question arises in our minds, that what is literature exactly, what is mean by literature, what are its aspects and elements. So what is literature? Literature is as a term derives from the Latin word literatura, writing formed with words, which means specific kind of writing. Now this writing is specific, it is not non-literary writing, because there are, for example, there are newspapers, journals, magazines, and writing particularly in those particular format, the writing is different. And in literature the writing is different, the language is used differently, and so the language is specific kind of language, so that these are called as literary writings. Now they are the works of creative imaginations. We can term literature as creative works of creative imaginations. Now imagination is used creatively here, in which the human life is encoded through the words. Human life is represented, but human life is not represented in a realistic way. For example, we can say that in newspaper we have fact related information, and in such a way we cannot present literature. Literature has certain kind of imaginative representation of human life, which cannot be called as a false, yet it is deeply related with human life. And it can be divided into two, oral and written. So there are three things. First of all, there is a imagination. Okay. Second, the imagination is used creatively. Third is the language and emotions are used in a particular way. So literature is a peculiar specific kind of writing which uses specific language, which represents the human life imaginatively, creatively, with the help of words, so that here the linguistic or stylistic usage of language is very much of important to be studied. So the collective writings in any language or nation which have certain artistic value can be called as literary work. Now these are the collective writing. That means in the past literature has particular history. So from ancient periods to now we have collective writings called as literary writings in any language. For example, we have Marathi literature, we have Hindi literature, we have English literature, so that in any language we can have the literary history or nation which have certain artistic value. It is termed as an art, so that it is the type of art. It has figurative language, the language is used particularly, and there are some universal human values and emotions represented through imagination. Now what are the universal human values? Universal means what? It is applicable at the world level. We have particular emotions which are similar, so that there are emotions like love, hate, anger. These are the universal human values or emotions, and those emotions can be presented through any language at any place, so that these are the universal human values which are represented through imagination. in any kind of literature, and certainly it is different from newspapers, journals, or magazines, or scientific writings, which are basically fact related and which are different from literature itself. Now, what is criticism? Now, in general, we say the term criticism or the word criticism refers to the fault finding activity which has negative connotations. But here, in literary terms, it does not mean the negative, or it does not have negative aspects or fault finding activity. It is actually the interpretation, evaluation, analysis, or judgment of literature, which can be termed as functions of criticism. Now, what is interpretation? Interpretation means understanding of literature, evaluation, to place the value of that literature, to place the standard of that literature. Analysis is study, and judgment is last conclusion, the last experience we have about that particular literary text. And these are the functions of criticism. And it is not just the fault finding activity, it is not just the quoting the goodness and badness of that literary work. It is not just saying this is the good work and this is the bad work. It is not just the function of criticism, it is beyond of that. So it is interpretation, evaluation, analysis, and judgment of literature, and it can be called as the functions of criticism also. Now, the word criticism is derived from the Greek word kreni, which means to judge, and the word kritikos means a judge of literature, which refers to the literary critic. Criticism teaches us different ways or approaches to study literature. Criticism teaches us how to study literature, how to read particular literary text, how to analyze its value, how to study that particular text differently. Criticism teaches us, and it gives us different perspectives to understand literature. So it is the medium, actually. Literary criticism is the medium to understand literary text. It is difficult to determine when literary criticism as a discipline began. Now, we cannot say what is particular origin of literary criticism. The earliest literary work considered to deal with literary criticism is Aristotle's Poetics, which was published in the 4th century BC. Okay. So literary criticism is thought to have existed as long as literature. As long as there is a literary history, in the same way there is a history of literary criticism also, and they are interrelated, they are deeply related with each other. So that in the 4th century itself, we started actually we can, for our convenience, we can say it was started in the 4th century BC, but it cannot be called as the starting point. Actually, in the 4th century BC, Aristotle wrote the Poetics. An argument of literary forms or types is thought of as a first critique about literature. So the work is actually an answer to Plato's charges on poetry. Aristotle was the student or a disciple of Plato, and Plato wrote, first of all, in his Republic, he made some charges on poetry, and Aristotle Poetics is an answer to those charges. So Plato's attacks on poetry as imitative, secondary, and false were formative as well. So the period in which Aristotle and Plato wrote is known as classical period. So first variety of criticism, or first first period in which we can say the criticism started was classical period. And at that time, the judgment was the function of literary criticism, which belongs to classical criticism. And at that time, it was not professional or institutionalized, but now it is a separate activity. And for our convenience, we can say that from Middle Ages it was started as an institutionalized activity, but there is no yet specific point of the start of criticism. Again, the question arises: what is the need of criticism? Readers can enjoy readers can enjoy literary text on their own, but as there is a need of a guide to travel in the dark forest. Similarly, there is a need of a critic to show the ways to explore literature. In some cases, literature is experimental and complex to understand, and here, critic plays the role of a mediator. The value of literature yet cannot be defined in practical terms, as it is related to the human sensibilities, and the role of human values is very important in the human life, and such human values are represented by literature. So literature, we can say, is the moral or aesthetic need of society, which teaches us by giving the delight. Literature gives us particular message, right, about our human life, and it is the moral, aesthetic, mental need which which gives us pleasure. So it is the art form. And the again, definition of literary criticism, if you want to have that definition, we can say that literary criticism is also one kind of art. It is also, it can also be called as the art or practice of judging and commenting on the qualities and character of literary works. It is basically the art about art. And let's go through some of the definitions by literary critics or writers. First definition we are going to study, that is definition of criticism by Matthew Arnold. And Matthew Arnold describes it as a disinterested endeavor to learn and propagate the best that is known and thought in the world. It is a disinterested endeavor. What is meant by disinterested? Disinterested means it should be objective analysis. You should have that particular objective attitude towards learning the best that is known and thought in the world of literature. We should understand what is known as a best in literary works, and for that matter, to study best literature work or to study great literature work, you should have that particular approach, and that approach should be objective approach, and that is disinterested. You should not be partial in your studies. For example, if I like William Shakespeare, I would ignore its the Shakespeare's writings drawbacks or demerits. So the analysis should be disinterested, objective. It should not be partial, and it should look for the positive or negative aspects of that literary work. Second is definition of criticism. Definition of criticism by Matthew Arnold. Definition of criticism by Walter Pater. Walter Pater's definition is criticism is the art of interpreting the art. It is one of the art which teaches us about the art. Now third is definition of criticism by T.S. Eliot, and it is good criticism is the elucidation of works of art and the correction of taste. It examines, good criticism is the interpretation of the works of art and the correction of taste. That means at many places, or sometimes we have the misguidance or negative thought about that work, and literary criticism teaches us or corrects our taste of that particular literary text. So these are some of the definitions. We have seen three definitions. First was by Matthew Arnold, second one was by Walter Pater, and third was by T.S. Eliot. So basically, literary criticism can be termed as one of the art speaking about another art, which examines or comments on the qualities and character of literary works, and which is basically related with literature. So literature and criticism are integral part of each other. They comment on each other so that they can be studied in relation with each other. So that for today we have discussed definition of literary criticism, and that is point first of your unit first, and you will have in your term and exam, the first question would be on this unit, and the question would be like this: what is the definition of literary criticism? And you can write the definition of literary criticism by any critic out of these three, or you can write your own definition of literary criticism, and you can have a particular you can discuss about the examples also. So for today we have discussed our first unit. In the later lectures we are going to discuss the principles and functions of criticism. Thank you.